welcome to Deep Dives with Dogs. Well, today's topic is going to be about the Soviet Cosmonaut program. So, if you are unaware of what a cosmonaut is, it's pretty simple. It's just the Soviet astronaut. Um, I will say personally, cosmonaut, way cooler name. It really makes me think of the 1950s, like that sci-fi era, cosmonaut, things like that. It just sounds, I like it. Okay, I like it. But Um, this is a personal thing. No one has to like it. I can like it myself. But yes, so the Soviets do have a lot of firsts with their cosmonauts. The first human being to ever be in space is Yuri Gagarin, um, and he is a Soviet, of course, Soviet cosmonaut. You have the first woman to ever. Sorry, I saw something on the grass there. But the first woman to ever be in space, Valentina V. Tereskova. Tereskova. Uh, she uh, is also a cosmonaut, first woman, obviously, a name like that. But um, yeah, a lot of these people are a lot of firsts. Now, the one thing that we have to remember, while the Soviets did have a lot of firsts, a lot of the reasonings is because of, one would say, the Soviets' view on human life. A lot of the time, these people were sent out not necessarily with the intention that they would come back. Now, the first woman, maybe a bit more so. They had been doing space travel at least a little bit by that point, so it's a little bit more like, oh, okay, we kind of got it figured out. It's not fully, it's never going to be fully. Space is a very hostile environment to human beings, but um, we got it kind of figured out. So she was a little bit more safe. But Yuri Gagarin, they had tested it a few times with quite a few animals, and there's a lot of stories of that. But there still wasn't a whole guarantee, or like there was a higher guarantee, but there wasn't the highest guarantee that he would even survive. They had plans that if he died, like, oh, he died uh, for Mother Russia, or for the Soviet Union, not for Mother Russia, but they died for the motherland. But thankfully for Yuri, that did not happen. Another thing is, while these people were maybe initially treated as heroes a lot of the time, um, they would also not necessarily be for that long, and they had to watch themselves a lot of the times because it could be seen anything that they do could be seen as anti-Soviet propaganda or something like that. Yuri Gagarin's probably the best example of this. Funnily enough, comes back as a hero and things like that, but then as time goes on, he kind of gets dropped by the government a lot because of just some of the things he had said. Oops, sorry. And some of the things he had maybe done. But it's a lot different than, like the astronaut program. Astronauts, at least in the U.S., more so were treated as heroes their whole lives. Um, Now, the unfortunate thing for them was more so that there just wasn't as many chances for these heroes. A lot of times the first American, well, it's not as crazy as the first person. Um, but there are still very important astronauts, of course. First American astronaut. But a lot of those guys were also military guys. Of course, you're gonna have military, aerospace, not aerospace, but airplane pilots a lot of times as ship crew. A lot of airmen, just because it's an easier idea, I guess, in a lot of people's mind. But for instance, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, when they come back from being the first people to ever walk on the face of the moon, they're heroes, and there are even a few others much later, like John Glenn, for instance, and things like that are heroes. But the Soviets, being communists and things like that, a lot of that stuff necessarily wasn't as It didn't fully have to do with the communism. It had a lot to do with the dictatorial powers not wanting these people to go against the Soviet Union. Just gonna be honest. So don't give them any fame, because if you give them too much, if you give them a little bit of fame, not too much though, they'll stay in line. But if you give them too much fame, things might go to their head. Don't want that. Don't want that. But yeah, Cosmonaut program, very interesting. Obviously, it still exists in some form today with the Russians, but yeah, it's just hard. And look, I'm just small petition here. I think we should change astronaut to cosmonaut. I still like the name more. I think it's very cool. Even if maybe, sadly, the people that had that title in the past maybe didn't have the best of times. But that's going to do it for this video. If you guys like the video, leave a like. If you have any ways you can improve these videos, leave a comment down below. I always appreciate your feedback. And as always, subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Thank you.